Hi, I'm Karen Rice and welcome to my watercolour YouTube channel. I'm going to be painting a snowy winter landscape step-by-step tutorial, which could be a great idea for a Christmas card. So shall we get started? This is the gorgeous reference photograph and a link for this can be found in the description below. I'll also be adapting this photograph a little to make it more Christmassy and a little bit more interesting. Here are all the materials I'll be using in this tutorial, and a full list can be found in the description below, along with Amazon and Jackson's Art Supplies links if you'd like to purchase any of them. So I'm wetting my sky area with my large, flat, soft haired brush. You don't want anything too sort of rough because it might scratch the paper. And I've mixed up some Cerulean, a little bit of pink and some Quinacridone gold. A full list of the colours that I'm using and colour alternatives can also be found in the description below. When you're wetting the sky and the background area and over the trees, just try to be careful not to get any water on the rooftop where there's snow and on the snow area, so I'm being really careful. I'm applying the Cerulean now with my size 10 round black velvet brush, and I'm just sort of gliding the paint on. Always make sure you really load your brush. I've had a tiny little bit of pink. Now there is no pink in the sky, but because I'm using the yellow as well, I didn't want them to run into each other and make a green sky. So I put the pink like a barrier almost. I'm now applying some of the Quinacridone gold, wet into wet, to the tree area, and then creamier burnt sienna for sort of those sort of more sort of warmer, browner areas. And I'm using my size 4 round brush. I'm working damp into damp now. I've added a little bit of ultramarine to Quinacridone gold. So I've got this lovely dark green, painting damp into damp with my size 4 brush, and just really sort of putting it on, but leaving some of the lighter areas coming through as well, so don't lose your light. If you'd like to watch longer tutorials with lots more voiceovers, lots more discussion about colour mixing and techniques with drawing templates, why not think about joining my Patreon membership? Just click the link in the top right hand corner and it'll give you more details. I'm actually sponging in the tops of the trees here. It's a damp sponge and I'm just using some of the colours in the palette. I'm using a synthetic sponge because I know a lot of you said that you don't have any natural sponges, so it works quite nicely. I'm using the size 4 brush and I'm sort of painting this Christmas tree here, damp into damp, using ultramarine with Quinacridone gold, and just I've moved it a little bit more nearer to the cabin, and that's where I've made one of the adjustments to the photograph. I just thought it's kind of a nice little balance there. I deliberately didn't use any masking fluid in this tutorial, and instead for these lighter trees I'm pulling them out with my plastic card, so the paint has to be damp for it to work, and just lift off swiftly and don't keep going back and forth because you may scratch or even tear a hole in your paper. I'm actually wetting the foreground snow area now with my large brush and putting in a mix of the ultramarine, touch of pink, tiny touch of burnt sienna, so it's a very, very watered down greyish colour. I'm putting some salt on these damp trees, but to let you into a little secret, I left it too late and the paint had already dried, so as a result the salt didn't work, and that happens to us. It's just that you need to put the salt on when the paint's damp. What I'm doing here is I'm just putting in some reflections in this little bit of water here, which is quite nice, just using the colours that I use for the trees, and I've made a little path here as well to lead the eye in, and use a little bit of ultramarine with a tiny touch of pink and a tiny touch of burnt sienna, damp into damp with my size 10 brush. I'm painting this little cabin now just with burnt sienna, wet on dry, with my size 4 brush. I decided to add some people to this little painting here. Just at the top of the path, they're very, very tiny, and I'm using my size 2 brush, and it just brings a little bit of life to the painting. I put a little bit of red, actually, a little bit of pink here and there, and ultramarine and burnt sienna for the darks. I've even given them a little dog, and putting a little bit of shadow underneath them, and I thought I'd put a little girl here as well. But you can put whoever you like, and you know, your own sort of family setup. It's a really nice idea for the Christmas card. You can actually put your own people in there. I'm painting in the windows and doors with ultramarine and burnt sienna, and it's wet on dry with my size 4 brush, just to add a little bit more detail to this little cabin. Put a bit of shading on the snow, and I'm putting some shadows under the eaves and the markings on the wood as well, just to kind of give it a little bit of detail here and there. I'm just putting a bit of shading now, wet on dry, with my size 4 brush, and I'm going to finish off now. I'm spattering some white gouache paint, but you can use white watercolour or even white acrylic. I'm using my size 4 brush, and I'm just tapping on the brush, and the painting is dry now, just to give it that little wintry, Christmassy sort of feel. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I've had so much fun painting and sort of adapting the photograph. If you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comments section below. And if you'd like to see any more videos like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll get updates of my latest videos. Thank you again for watching. Happy painting. Bye for now.